Welcome to the Sandler Sales and Sales Leadership Thought of the Day. I want to share with you one of the Sandler rules that has a huge importance when it comes to sales and sales growth, and that is money does grow on trees. Probably one of the more misunderstood Sandler rules, and when we put it in a quiz to people who start attending or training sessions, they're often going, no, what does that even mean? That's not true. If I had a money tree, I would certainly water it like crazy because who doesn't want more money? What we're really talking about is your referral network. The people who are willing to introduce you, the people who are willing to get you in the door in places that you're struggling to get into. That tree is incredibly important. But as salespeople, often we don't do a good job of watering it. Number one, we don't have any real way of asking for those introductions, and we do it really poorly. We usually say something like, hey, do you know anybody? Hey, if you know of anyone who could use what I do, could you just introduce me? One of the worst questions that we could ever ask. Instead of using a tool like LinkedIn and say, hey, I was going through your LinkedIn profile and I noticed that you're connected to Bill. I've really been trying to get a hold of Bill and I was wondering if you could introduce me to Bill. So we don't put any context around the question, or we don't even ask the question. Secondly, we don't do it ourselves. In other words, we don't try to introduce our customers to people who could help them. And that's really important. That's called the law of reciprocation. Help others, right? If you have that as part of your regular behavior, chances are you're going to get more introductions. Thirdly, tell people what happened. If they give you an introduction, make sure that you're telling them what happened with that you reached out, you made contact, you didn't make contact. A lot of times people don't even know. Just share that. They really are curious. And lastly, show some gratitude. If somebody has introduced you to somebody else and that's made a difference in your world, say thank you. Maybe that's a dinner, maybe that's a lunch, maybe that's just a thank you card. But make sure that you have gratitude for those kinds of people and keep track of it, because you know what? We get busy and we can forget. If you have any interest in what we've talked about here, we have a couple options coming up. One is crash a class. Just type that in the comments box. We'll send you some information on that. Or thirdly, we have a webinar coming up in August. If you're interested in that webinar, type in webinar and we'll send you the link.